Hi guys, this is Deckard Spade, and recently I read something that kinda hurts my brain. If you want to know, it came off of Tumblr. And if you're gonna tell me it's my own fault for reading it, yes it is. Recently, some images were posted stating the definition of a Mary Sue. Now, from what I can tell, the image's source is from someone named Fanatica. This goes on to say that there is no such thing as a Mary Sue, because they feel the definition of a Mary Sue is conflicting in its own nature. Now, it appears to give an argument by breaking things down into 13 separate points. But really, they're trying to give examples of conflicting extremes, things that just bash into each other to try and give themselves the point to stand on. And this looks like to me that it's trying to construct its own argument through the use of conflicting nature over something that hasn't even been properly defined. Because the fact is, a Mary Sue is something that's considered to be perfect in every way, regardless in its own story, whether it's hated or universally loved, whether it is something that is doing good or evil, whether it is something that is boring or interesting. The character is completely perfect or flawless, and thus outshines everything in its path. This character solves every problem themselves. This character is something that can break the laws of reality if necessary. When you say that there is no such thing as a Mary Sue, you're holding yourself to no standards. Now, maybe you've had some characters which have been harshly judged in the past. And maybe there are some people who flippantly use the wrong words to describe what your character is, to stereotype them. This is a problem in itself, and it should be addressed. But it shouldn't be bashing the concept. This argument that I read had quite a lot of swearing, and it also tended to beat up on the idea that a person could be a Mary Sue, because by the end of it, it flagrantly throws all OCs into the same barrel. And I quote, "Number 13, make an original character, period." And then rants that Mary Sues shouldn't exist because they're all personal opinion. Now, I understand that the creative process means that you're going to be subject to the opinions of other people. You as a person can choose to objectively take in their advice or reject it. But this article does something different. Not only does it convey the author's opinion that wrote it, it also puts down the opinions of other people when they choose to believe that Mary Sues exist. It also takes a side in saying, your creative standards have to be held to the idea that no Mary Sues exist because it insults me. From this point forward, the rest of the article is not really worth reading. It devolves into a lot of swearing, and then tries to claim that if everybody has their own personal opinion of what a Mary Sue should be, that they shouldn't exist at all. But they do exist. Mary Sues do exist. And a lot of us have made them. There's no shame in saying that you've done that before. A lot of times while we're younger in the creative process, we will tend to do things which will embarrass us when we get older. This does not, however, mean that we should be discouraged, nor should we be telling the world they're wrong for telling us we made a Mary Sue. Instead, once we learn from our mistakes, we create something better from the results of our own past endeavors. What I think the author did was just improperly define what a Mary Sue was, and whether intentional or not, took to heart this false definition that was presented to them by other people. And I think to combat this, we all need a proper definition. Tommy Oliver actually defined this quite well in his video of understanding Mary Sues, stating, "A Mary Sue is a character so perfect that they are never challenged by the events of the narrative. This means that the character is so powerful that there is no inconvenience for them. They're an army standing in front of you? No problem. Suddenly they blast them away using their unibeam. Discord is taking the town apart and turning it upside down? Alright, let's save this town by going up to the Discord and saying, 'I am the most powerful, friendly person that you know. Let's be friends.'" And so they did. No matter what challenge is presented within the storyline, the character cannot fail. And it isn't because they are super strong, or they're super good, or they're super anything. It is because they are perfect, to the level of where there is no suspension of disbelief. Now, there are plenty of people who can say, there are people that are super powerful, that have all sorts of different kinds of abilities and things, and they are great characters. Why can't mine be that way? And the simple answer to that is, you need a proper backstory. Something that doesn't set the character as all-powerful so much as powerful but has flaws. And something that lets them be challenged and holds the potential for both success and failure. Even if the character has high-end abilities that are capable of doing all sorts of crazy things within the story, as long as that character is sufficiently challenged in a way that's going to help them learn or grow, they're interesting, they're powerful, but they are not a Mary Sue. That's when we look at certain characters such as Alicorn princesses, superheroes such as Superman or Saitama from One Punch Man, or Jim Bob, the 5th level wizard who's too big for his britches at the table. All of these characters have room for growth and understanding and have potential to become so much more. Except for maybe Jim Bob. Depends on if his session goes well next week. If you would like to know more about this process, I would suggest looking at Understanding a Mary Sue by Tommy Oliver, and Why I Hate Alicorn OCs by Mad Munchkin. At any rate, thank you for staying a while to listen. Oh god, it's loose! Run! Run!